We've got barbecue back here. You're all invited. Welcome to the Sloopcast. How are you doing today, Kyle?
Doing all right, Jared. Doing all right. How are you doing today?
Doing all right. Hey, do you want to ask the question too, Kyle?
Sure. Hey, Austin, how are you doing today?
Close enough.
Yeah, that was basically the right thing. I'm doing well. Sorry that you guys can't see me. I'm hiding behind Kyle, so it's tough. No, other side. There I am. Okay. Yeah. Good to see you though. Good to see you.
It was a shorter drive to Kyle. I'm not taking it personally. All right, we're doing something special today. Where's your screen? He's not doing camera today.
Technical difficulties.
So we're doing something special today. My screen. I'm not sending my screen to the Discord. I'm being a bad host, not sending my screen to the Discord. There we go. Screen sent to the Discord.
All right, you're good.
All right, now let me fix this, and there we go on that. And all right, I'm bad at my job, everybody. We're doing something special today. As far as I know, this has never been done. So, the Big Ten has a new TV rights deal. And something that intrigued us when we were reading about the new Big Ten's rights deal is that apparently Fox, NBC, and CBS hold a draft for what games air on which networks. And I thought it seemed like a real obvious idea to us, just like, hey, why don't we do that draft? Why don't we do that draft? So here are the rules. Here's what we're doing today. We're taking the basic parameters of what is being done in real life by Fox, NBC, and CBS. We've made a couple changes. Change number one, we're playing by 2024 rules, which just basically means that CBS has both SEC and Big Ten games for the 2023 season. So they're only picking like half of what the other network. We're forgetting that. We're not worrying about that. We're going to 2024, where Fox, NBC, and CBS all have 15 games, at least 15 games in the initial rollout of games. After, because there's a lot more than those 45 games. Then all those other games get put into a pool, and then like Peacock and the Big Ten Network and other networks, they get those other games. But we're only doing the first round, or the first grouping, which will be about 45 games. So an additional rule is that each week, each of the 13 weeks, someone has to pick a game. Everyone has to pick a game for that week. That does leave 2 games left over that can be picked by anyone, by anywhere. So that's, so you get like two bonus games. So with that, I'm gonna switch over to our big board here. All right. I will be playing the role of Fox. Kyle will be playing the role of CBS.
I think that's backwards, isn't it?
You know what? I think it's right. I think you're right. Hold on. I messed it up when I made the graphic. I'm switching these. I'm still bad at my job. There we go.
There you go.
I'm putting the CBS down there. Kyle will be I'm Jared, will be playing the role of Fox Sports. Kyle will be playing the role of NBC, and Austin on audio will be playing the role of CBS. So, with all of that being said, I will be choosing in the first round Ohio State versus Michigan.
Surprise, surprise.
I know, shocked, right? Yeah. Shocking. And a shocking revelation. Ohio State versus Michigan.
All right.
Kyle, you pick.
So for me here, I'm going to pick in week 8. It is Penn State at Ohio State.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was the next one on my board. That's completely fair. I mean, at that point, those are the three biggest brands in the Big Ten. So
Exactly.
all playing each other.
I completely agree. So when you say the three biggest brands, Austin, is that a nod towards your pick?
Actually, it's not.
Okay.
Because here's the thing.
Okay.
Although I would love to have Penn State and Michigan, I think that there's a week that's a little bit weaker. And everyone tunes into this game, if not only for the atmosphere. So I'm going to take, for week 4, the whiteout game and take Iowa at Penn State.
All right. Iowa.
I respect that.
At Penn State.
Yeah, Iowa's kind of like Michigan State last year, where like we don't know how good Iowa really is going to be.
I know Brian Ferentz is still their offensive coordinator.
Well, see, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think through if I'm actually CBS, right, and I want the ratings. A bunch of people are going to tune into the whiteout game, if not even just for the first couple minutes, just to see that atmosphere, see what's happening. I mean, you remember the Michigan against Penn State game from, I don't even know how many years ago it was at this point, where Michigan couldn't even get the ball snapped on their first play. Like, people are going to want to look at that and to view that. And so trying to get the numbers up, I think a lot of people will be tuning in to watch that game, especially because if you look at the week 4 schedule, there's not a lot going on.
Yes, in a very niche but accurate joke, Buckeye Esquire says he has no boss now, he's ungovernable. This is true. Brian Ferentz is a total wild card. All right. I, however, will be finishing out the trifecta of the big brands, and I will be picking Penn State.
Aren't we doing
Snake? No, yeah. Fox owns this shit.
Fox owns the fixed draft. Yeah.
Right.
Fox owns this shit.
All right.
You could be Fox next year.
All right.
Week 11, Penn State versus Michigan.
All right.
That's fair.
That is fair. So let me just make sure I get this. So Michigan at Penn State, and that one is Jared. I am going to go to. I think this is going to be a really great atmosphere here. It always is whenever Ohio State rolls into town. I'm going to go week 9.
Yep.
Ohio State taking on the Fighting Fickles.
Mm-hmm.
I do not disagree with that pick whatsoever, especially if Wisconsin's good. The storylines write themselves with Luke Fickell. I think that's a great call. Maryland versus Rutgers.
It's on my board. It's very low, but it's on there.
It is.
Based off of, we'll worry about it when we get there.
So I'm left with, I think, about 3 realistic options for my next pick. And I'm going to pick a game that might be a little bit farther down your guys' boards. But again, it's on a week where there's not a lot going on. And it's always nice to pick a game that hardly ever happens.
Okay.
So I'm going to take week 3. And Jared, I'm not even sure you have the logo for it.
I do.
Washington at Michigan State.
Yep. That was on mine, but it's down a little bit here. Probably too early for me to pick right now, but definitely on there in my first choices there.
That's very sneaky, Jared. All the way down
Look
there.
at that, Jared.
He's trying to hide the picks from us. He doesn't want us to know that they're there.
Jeez, look at this. Look at Fox here. Jeez.
I'm Fox. I don't play fair.
Yeah. Well.
No, I don't know why. I don't know how I missed that. I think I maybe thought it was because if you look at these games down here, these are the games that I put on here mistakenly, but then I realized, oh, by the way, real quick, in case anyone's wondering, the pool of games we're picking from are the games that that the Big Ten owns. Therefore, the way that is determined, like, for example, last year, Ohio State hosted Notre Dame, therefore it was a Big Ten game. This year, Notre Dame is hosting Ohio State, therefore it is an NBC Notre Dame owned game. So, like, Ohio State versus Notre Dame is not available to pick from this year because it's a Notre Dame property, not a Big Ten property. Just so everyone knows.
All right, back to you, Jared.
Buckeye Esquire says Maryland Rutgers has BTN Prime written all over it.
Yes.
It's going to be on Peacock 100%.
Yes. Penix is rising. Yes.
All right.
Fox.
Fox. I will be picking, and I don't know why specifically. I think is it fair to say at this point? Is it fair to say at this point that, like, these are the premier games off of the list?
Absolutely.
Like these are the S tier. These are the 6 like S tier games to pick from this year. Yes.
These are the top 6 on my entire board. All 6 of the top 6 from my board are completely gone.
Okay. So I'm going to go with what could be a surprise game in what is kind of a week on the schedule. I need to find a better way of saying that. So I'm going to go to week 7 and we're going to go Ohio State, Purdue. Ohio State returning to Purdue after, the last time they were there, it was a big upset. It's a garbage week. If you look at the week, it's kind of a garbage week. Oh, I'm putting it in the wrong spot. It's kind of a garbage week. Not a lot of good games to pick from. I think it's a gem.
I think that's a heavy reach.
Yeah, I disagree because actually next on my pick is actually week 7 as well, Jared.
I have that game up there as well.
Yep, I have Wisconsin and Iowa for week 7.
Hold on. Timeout.
The number 1 game for the week.
Okay, y'all are thinking as football fans. As a TV executive?
Yes, sure. Ohio State, the brand. Yeah, absolutely.
As a television executive, because listen, the fact that you're putting that on NBC at prime time, nah, that has CBS midday nap written all over it.
The issue that you're going to run into, Jared, though, is that when Purdue comes into that game and they're 2-5, no one's going to care. And Purdue's bad.
It doesn't. You can sell the upset. The last time Ohio State and Purdue played, yada yada yada.
I see where you're going with it, but also this is, I think, Wisconsin's first big home game. Like, I would assume this is probably around their homecoming time. Like this game has potential. Wisconsin, Iowa to be pretty good.
Can you imagine if Fickle and Brian Ferentz get into a defensive duel? Imagine. I'm expecting it.
Yep. All right. What you got, Austin, for your next one?
So I can wait on my week 7 now. Draft etiquette.
Yep.
And all that.
Yes.
Not necessarily. We have 2 road games, 2 wild card games.
That's true, but I'm gonna wait on it just a little bit because I think.
Come on, you don't want that Michigan State Rutgers game?
Unfortunately, again, it's on
Illinois, Maryland's right there.
Instead, I'm actually going to go to week 11 as well.
Okay.
Because I feel like, again, brands, this game always gets ratings, even though it's a blowout most of the time. I need an Ohio State game. I'm going to take Michigan State at Ohio State.
Yep, that's a good call.
That one is. That's a good one there.
I mean, it'll. Have they released the time for this game yet? I mean, I would put this in. It typically is like the ABC primetime. Obviously,
I know they just released. I know they just released their like the second round of games. that have been like publicized as far as times, but I don't know if this one's been. If this one's been.
It just I feel like that game should almost always be.
Yeah,
A night game. It just feels right.
Yeah, it's not determined yet. If I were Ohio State, I wouldn't. You're already playing a.
Oh, I guess that's November, so I guess they won't be a night game. Right?
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So,
assuming we're still playing by those rules.
Yeah, it'll be a 3:34 o'clock kickoff, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But isn't NBC like getting primetime games as part of their deal? Isn't that?
But Jared, this game's on CBS, as you can see with my draft.
Well, I'm just do those old rules still apply? I think because I think the whole thing is like NBC is supposed to get an 8 o'clock Big Ten game. Isn't that the whole thing? I don't know. That's
what all the drama's about right now. So
I thought I read they might be doing November night games. That's what I'm saying. Like the whole idea is that Fox gets the noon game, CBS gets the 3:30, and NBC gets the night game. Like I think that's supposed to be the whole deal.
Yeah.
So I'm not 100% sure on that one, to be honest.
All right, Jared, what you got next in your picks?
All right, I'm once again channeling my inner TV executive. And if I get a chance to have Ohio State in November this late in the draft, I'm going to take it. Week 12, Ohio State versus Minnesota, who might be pretty decent. That like this might be a decent Minnesota team.
Here we go again.
I actually like that pick.
Here we go again. Jared rowing the boat still after all these years.
Row the boat.
When will he learn?
Several years ago when I stopped rowing the boat.
Yeah, that boat is to the bottom of whatever Great Lake you want to put it in.
Yes. What Spike's skiff? Spike's skiff.
Yes.
That's Row that boat, baby.
All right. I think a potential sleeper here. What I have here, you did week 12. I actually did on my next board here is actually week 12 as well, Jared.
Oh, are you going where I think you're going?
It is not Wisconsin. It is Michigan versus Maryland.
Our first Terp appearance.
Jared, I'll tell you for free, you might see another Terp appearance in a second.
I think Maryland is just it. I think kind of like Iowa, maybe not to degree Iowa, but I think Maryland could be a sneaky team this season here. They have the chance to be that third, fourth, push into third, maybe best team in the East this year. But we'll see.
No way.
That
Kyle.
Be a stretch, but
the top three are pretty much the top three.
Yeah, there's no way they're better than Penn State this year. And I'm not even going to entertain the idea that they're better than Ohio State or Michigan. And after that, being fourth is not much of an accomplishment in the East.
Yeah. At least, congrats, you beat Rutgers, Indiana, and Maryland, or Michigan State. Okay. But as I said, Jared, I'm going to take a Maryland game as well because I really looked into this. Do either of you happen to know when Ohio State's bye week is?
Isn't that week 6?
It's week 5. So there's going to be a lot of Ohio State fans fiending for an Ohio State game. So I'm going to take week 6, Ohio State and Maryland.
It's not a bad pick. It's not a bad pick at all. Again,
it's going to be that
wearing that
TV
TV executive hat.
Yep. Plus, week 6 isn't the best. There's a couple games.
There's literally only, 6 Big Ten owned games that week.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them is Howard at Northwestern, which I'm just going to go ahead and throw this out there. Isn't going to get picked today. But just in case it is, I do have a Howard. I do have a Howard Bison logo just in case someone does. Which, yes, I had to download specifically for today.
You, Jared? Are you?
Am I? Fuck no.
I mean, if we were playing as if we were doing SEC here, I mean, week 12 of all those off week games? Yeah.
Not, by the way, in my thinking, taking Minnesota, Ohio State.
Yeah, because there's gonna be more eyes on it. That's fair.
100% my thinking. Thinking. Looking around here, I could go with another Ohio State game. I think there's a couple good ones to pick from. Right now, again, I'm Fox. I'm trying to do my big noon kickoff. I'm looking for marquee names, marquee positions.
Don't do it, Jared.
What do you think?
Don't take my pick. I'm not saying anything.
No one's picked anything from week 5 yet.
Son of a bitch. You son of a bitch.
And I think what you have is 2 marquee names, some classic Big Ten football, sort of, because Nebraska's not been in the Big Ten all that long. You have Michigan, you have Nebraska. This is some old school football right here. 2 big brands, big noon kickoff live from, is it Lincoln?
I believe so.
It is, yes.
Yeah, live from Lincoln. Yeah, week 5, Michigan at Nebraska.
Yeah, that one hurt. And I think it's an early. Matt Rule's the new coach there. It's an early season. It's like probably their first big test. So I really wanted that one. That was a good pick.
What if Nebraska is back with Matt Rule? I think he has a shot, but I don't think it's this year.
Well, you got to remember though, Nebraska, they lost most of their games by all those one-score scores. Like they're not completely terrible. There's talent on that roster. They've got a shot to be all right.
They have Austin. Yes, they have a shot to be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. This would be a scrappy year. Yeah. That sets up a we're back talk for 2025. Yeah. What Esquire is saying. 2024. Yeah.
Right,
I knew what you meant.
What you got, Kyle?
All right. I got here. I think I'm going to go to the last week here, week 13. I'm going to
have a couple good good ones to pick from here.
Yep. It's the quote unquote rivalry week here.
Great.
And this isn't
Maryland Rutgers.
This really isn't a rivalry, but I got Penn State and Sparty.
We're supposed to pretend it is. Ever since this has been on the schedule, ever since Sparty, or excuse me, ever since Penn State. Ever since Penn State joined, they've been trying to force this rivalry down both of these schools' throats since 1993. It hasn't taken yet, but they keep playing the game.
I mean, it's better than anything else, but that's not Ohio State, Michigan, probably.
No.
For that week, absolutely.
No.
Well, I guess we'll see if you try and take one later.
Yeah.
But as you can see from my picks, you guys are kind of taking that middle and end of the draft. I'm going to continue to take some from the beginning of the season. And again, the opening week isn't great. So again, my thought process, same as Michigan State with Washington, take a premier, quote unquote premier, out of conference game. Give me West Virginia at Penn State.
Ooh, that was actually my next one there, Austin. If you weren't going to take that, that was going to be what I was going to take for week 1.
I was afraid you were going to take my next pick, which is a week 1 pick, but you didn't. So we're good.
I only see 2 other week 1 ones you could.
Yeah, I agree. There are 2 additional ones worth taking. Potential to be a real fun one. I agree. This game is really just the FU Pitt game.
Yeah.
These are the 2 teams that Pitt really wants to be rivals with, but no one cares. This is just like the we mutually hate Pitt game. Although Penn State would never admit to it. All right. Speaking of week 1, you talk about people being fiending for some Ohio State content after a week off, Austin. How about an entire season off?
Sure.
Opening weekend. Ohio State, Indiana. You get a Big Ten game when most of the other games aren't even conference games. A lot of FCS schools. Well, I get a Big Ten matchup in week 1. Hell yeah. Give me Ohio State. Give me Indiana.
If you're going to be correct there, you just flip Ohio State and Indiana. Oh, wait.
He's got mixed up. It doesn't
Kyle,
matter.
I have not been attempting to do that.
All right.
It says versus, not at.
Fair enough. All right. Oops, wrong
Which
one.
game on this list can be considered the Killdozer game? Ohio State, IU.
All right. The next game I have here, I'm going to go with week 5, Jared.
Okay, I see the vision.
Yep. I got Sparty heading on over to Iowa.
I'm glad our boards all fell roughly the same, so that way I can just mark things off from the top of my board instead of having to search for games.
I mean, a lot of the picks are pretty obvious, especially if you're looking at this from a TV executive standpoint, which is what I think we're supposed to be doing. Because it's largely about brands, right?
Yeah, and looking at it now, I'm actually in trouble because I don't think I have another week 5 game on my board, but we'll figure that out when we get there.
I mean, Wagner and Rutgers is still there. And
I mean, it's an option. Look at all these other games. But
is there a limit? Oh, Kyle's letting me. Is it because we're in a 3-way call, Kyle, that Teams is limiting us?
Yep.
Okay. All right. We'll address that. You said we have 10 minutes. Okay. We'll have a brief interruption, but we'll figure that out.
Should be my pick now.
Yes, it is.
Great. There's only 2 weeks left that have not been taken anything yet. So I think that there's a decent game for week 10 and then a decent little drop off. There's like 2 or 3 games that you could take there. But because of how bad week 2 is, and I mean, guys, week 2 is
garbage.
It's real bad.
There's not a pickable game in the entire lot.
There's not. And so this might be a reach taking this early, but I want to make sure I get one of Ohio State and Michigan, if I'm being completely honest.
No, you're 100. Yeah, no. And by the way, this is exactly what will happen.
Yeah. And so as much as I think I obviously I prefer Ohio State, but I think that taking the West Coast team and maybe getting a couple more eyes on it could be a different time of day. I'm going to take UNLV in Michigan. I don't feel great about it, but I wanted to make sure that I got something from over there as well. So, I mean, that week just sucks. I'm not touching week 2 again. I don't know if that's a spoiler for any picks for you guys for later, but I mean, it's pretty bad. But again, I wanted to get either Ohio State or Michigan, so I'll take that.
Yeah, no, that's totally understandable. All right, I am up again. Staying along these lines of getting brand recognition, because again, I think that's exactly how this, in my opinion, should be done. Let's see. I think I have a couple options here. I'm gonna go with Kyle guessed my pick. I'm gonna go Ohio State. I'm gonna go Rutgers.
Ugh, yuck.
Hey,
I respect it, but man.
Hey, I'm call me Kendall Roy. I'm not doing things because it's right. I'm doing things to make money here.
I think that was the 5th highest ranked game for week 10 for me, which is incredible. But I mean, it is Ohio State, so I think we've almost picked. Have we picked every Ohio State Big Ten game? I'm pretty sure. Big Ten game. I'm pretty sure we have.
Well, Big Ten game. If it's a Ohio State and Youngstown State is out there.
But you
Ohio
might
State.
might as well mark that one off then, Jared, because I'll get that one there.
Yeah,
Okay.
that one. Thought that would happen.
Western, yeah, Ohio State, Western Kentucky is still out there, and of course the NBC game with Notre Dame is not
Oof.
eligible.
Jared, good luck when you do your week 2 pick.
It's gonna be his last pick.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah, no, I almost took the Youngstown State game, and I'm now kind of regretting not doing it.
Yeah, because I mean it's
Yep.
that's rough. Well, I want to go ahead and take my week 10 game because I think it's a chance again to get a big brand. Well, you know what? Actually, I'm gonna throw a curveball here. I'm actually gonna go week 12. It'll be our first full finished week, and I'm gonna take Nebraska at Wisconsin. I think there could be ramifications for the Big Ten West there, depending on how good Nebraska is. Wisconsin will definitely be good. Yeah, two of the bigger brands over there.
All right, we're restarting. Nothing happened. If you're watching the video, absolutely nothing happened. All right, it's my turn to pick, and you know, every single one of my games so far has featured either Ohio State or Michigan. I'm going to take a bit of a jump away from that. Again, I'm looking for brands. I'm looking for big brands. And I think Purdue at Nebraska in a week that's not fantastic, although I think there's one more decent game in that week. Ohio, was that Kyle? Yeah, Kyle already took Ohio State and Wisconsin. So I'm going to get Penn State on the board. And I'm going to get Nebraska on the board for week 9.
Very interesting. All right.
Splice. Jared can be cutting the tape like a GA tonight.
Hey, I could be wrong about this. That's not a week 9 game. It should be Indiana and Penn State that week, right?
Purdue at Nebraska.
You put Penn State.
Oh, what the hell did I do?
I don't know.
Okay. All right, hey, maybe we're not splicing this in yet. No, I'm kidding. I just misread that. My bad. Backing up my thought process here a tad. I don't know what the hell I was seeing.
I mean, if you want Purdue, Nebraska, you can have Purdue, Nebraska.
No, I don't want Purdue, Nebraska. I will, however, jump just a week earlier, and I'll get Michigan State.
Okay.
Sure. That makes more sense, I think.
Yep.
I apparently just saw Purdue and my mind put Penn State there for some reason.
I was really eyeballing that one as my
second pick.
As my second pick for that week, Jared.
Yeah.
But it's probably a good thing that you took that when you did there. All right. So let's see. What do I not have? I don't have 1, 3, 4, 6, 10, and 11. Well, 11 is not that great of games, so I'm kind of staying away from 11 for right now.
For what's left.
Yeah, not great games.
Yeah.
Let's go to week 6, Jared.
Okay.
Let's go to week 6, and we're gonna go Michigan.
Yep.
Yeah.
At Minnesota.
Absolutely.
That's one of those Paul Bunyan games. I forget which one. Jug or axe or the Paul Bunyan trophy, something like that.
Wood or something. I don't know.
Right, that Michigan State game went off the board late. Yeah, that was a good steal.
Hey Jared, that's Wisconsin. It's supposed to be Minnesota.
Oh, okay. The whole
falling apart,
the
guys.
whole
He's falling
meeting
apart.
thing,
Yeah.
the whole meeting thing is pushing me into Nonsenseville.
Yes,
All right,
sir, yeah.
Austin's turn.
I am really glad that this game is still on the board because I was going to take it on my last pick and I was worried it wouldn't be there. Week 10, I'm going to take Penn State at Maryland. Again, not many great games week 10. There's a few that are decent. I think this is outside of the obviously the big two or the big three games between Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, Ohio State. I think this is a pretty decent one.
Yep. Down one, Jared. You need me to take
falling apart, guys. I am falling apart.
And also just I wanted to get another Penn State game in there because they're one of the bigger three brands. So if I can't get a Michigan or Ohio State game, I'm gonna take that. So
makes sense to me.
All right, back to you, Jared.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of early games here. You still need to look at.
Yeah. My pre-week 4 or 4 and back, not 2 through 4, not great. I'm gonna remedy the week 4 portion of that. Again, going after brands. I'm gonna go Michigan. I'm gonna go Rutgers. I have Ohio State, Rutgers. Why not go ahead and get Michigan, Rutgers as well, week 4.
Sure. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. I mean, it's as good as a 4th place match is going to be. Yeah.
It's as good as we're going to do this late in the draft.
I'll go with this one here. They showed good promise last year.
The way to start.
They showed good promise. What was their 2022 record? They started off really strong, I thought.
Yep, I know where you're going.
Week 3, I think they'll give Penn State a run for their money here. I got Penn State and Illinois for week 3. Could be a trouble game for Penn State here.
Penn State did lose, or not Penn State. Illinois did lose a lot of their really good players to the draft, but
Kyle, this was the pick I almost picked, and then I went with Michigan Rutgers instead. I was between these two, and by the way, that is our first Illinois appearance in the draft.
That is
Youngstown State taken before Illinois in a Big Ten draft.
Yeah. God. Well, speaking of a Big Ten draft,
Bert.
I'm not sure that you could take a more Big Ten Bert game than week 8, Wisconsin at Illinois. I mean, good God, that just the storyline writes itself. Jared was talking like a TV exec. I mean, the Brett Bielema Bowl, the Triple B. I mean, it's all right there. So I'll go ahead and take that for week 8. I feel good about that.
I mean, that's back-to-back weeks for Wisconsin, or for Wisconsin having to deal with Bert.
The Berting intensifies.
Yes, dealing with Bert, and then the whole Fickle and Ohio State the week after that.
It's a tough stretch for Wisconsin there. They got a tough draw there.
Mm-hmm. All right, Jared, it is back to you.
Back to me. The pickings are starting to get slim.
They've been slim for a while.
You know, I bet at least so I'm just going to say this. If you look at all of my picks thus far, Ohio State in week 1, Michigan in week 4, Michigan in week 5, Ohio State in week 7,
sure.
Michigan in week 8, week 10, Ohio State, week 11, Michigan, week 12, Ohio State, week 13, both of them. Like, I've been very deliberate in my choices,
sure.
and I just don't think I have that option left anymore anywhere. Like, I think as far as the weeks I need to fill, I believe with the exception of Ohio State and Western Kentucky, which I'm not going to lie to you, I am considering.
Do it.
I will, however, instead look to week 9 and pick Michigan State at Minnesota.
That was going to be one of my wild cards there. That was the next one there, Jared.
It's an all right game. At this point in the draft, that's a good pick.
Yeah, I was about to say.
We're to the point where all right is.
Pretty
all right is pretty good. Guys, it's 3 a.m. It's You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right, what do we got next here? Gosh, yeah, but it's tough trying to find these games here. So I think I will go with week 4.
Okay.
I'll fill in my week 4 here. I got Maryland and
Yeah.
Sparty.
Yeah.
Okay.
I see that one there. I see Sparty and I see Maryland. Two well-known programs there, and like, all right, there we go.
I think Zach said it best when he said gross. That feels about right.
I mean, do you want
very exciting basketball game?
Do you want to watch Louisiana Tech and Nebraska?
No, that's why I picked Iowa and Penn State.
Florida Atlantic and Illinois?
It's on my board. I am shocked that this game fell to me. It falls right in line with Jared's mantra of pick the big brand. Week 7, I'm going to take Indiana at Michigan.
Oh, I missed that one. I legitimately would have taken that one had I seen it.
Yep.
I just straight up just didn't see that one was still available.
Yep. I think that's the last Michigan Big Ten game. Maybe there's one more.
As far as a Big Ten game, no. That would be. No,
there's one more. There's one more.
There is one more. Yeah.
Well, it is your turn, Jared. So go for it.
If you want to take it, Jared, go ahead.
Will I? No, I won't.
Yeah.
Maybe I will though.
Eh?
But I'm not.
Right.
But I could.
You could.
But I'm not.
But you're not.
No. All right. Y'all have been daring. I feel like y'all have been daring me to take this by not taking it. And screw it, I'm just going to take it. Week 3, Ohio State versus Western Kentucky.
You can have it. That's fine.
It's yours. It's yours.
Maybe Evan Pryor will return a kickoff that game or punt.
I'm going to use one of my wild cards here, Jared.
Oh, our first wild card.
I'm going to use one of my wild cards right now because the rest of the games or weeks suck here. So I'm going to go with a rivalry week here.
I was about to say there's still some good games sitting in week 13.
There's 2.
I'm going to go with Wisconsin and Minnesota.
Oh, okay, that works out for me then.
I'll go with Wisconsin and Minnesota.
Immediately after then, since it's the only option left really that's anywhere near my board, I'll take Iowa and Nebraska that week.
Yeah.
Couldn't let you get both. Once one of them went off the board, I was pretty much forced to take the other one. Back-to-back weeks of Nebraska on CBS, just the way that God intended.
Got to get all those Nebraska cable boxes.
Look at those early season games. It's like, ignore the end of the season.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying with my week 2 right now.
We have 2 wild cards, right?
We do. So you have one more remaining.
All right.
It also kind of looks like week 13 now you have a fatal 4-way match, which would be awesome. I mean,
a tornado tag.
All right, Jared, it is your turn.
It is my turn. Kyle broke the seal on the wild card game. Trying to decide if I'm going to follow suit. And I think I will. In week 1, I'm going to add as my first wild card Nebraska, Minnesota.
That's fair. Get a new look at Matt Rule, what's going on there. I can respect that.
Yeah.
All right. Following Austin's thing with Nebraska.
Hot take: Nebraska goes 3-9. That's a hot take.
That's a warm take at best, I think.
I'll take.
No, I feel like they're I think they're 500 or a game over 500.
I'll take the over, but if they went 2-10, I wouldn't be shocked. As a reminder, in Matt Rule's first year at Baylor, and this team is more talented, they went 1-11.
I will go week 10 here, Jared. I'll take the Nebraska game on the road to Sparty.
Sorry, you said week 11.
Week 10.
Week 10.
I'm sorry, week 10, Nebraska, Sparty. Okay.
Well, in that case, I will take the game that I thought Jared was going to take for week 9. To just almost finish out filling out my board. I'll take Indiana.
You don't have a week 5 yet.
I'm aware.
Okay. You said okay.
To help finish out the board, yeah. I'll take Indiana Penn State week 9. I feel like week 5 is so weak that I can wait a little bit to take that one. So I'll go take Indiana Penn State. I don't want you guys to get that.
That's fair. Very fair. Oh yeah. So I still need to fill out week 2 and week 6. Kyle still needs a week 1 and a week 11. Austin only has week 5 to fill out because he has not yet used his wild card pick.
Yep.
2 of them.
Right.
Yeah.
I haven't used one. Yeah.
He hasn't used one. He hasn't used one of his 2 like Kyle and I have. All right.
Going, Jared?
I'm gonna force myself to go ahead and
rip off the Band-Aid.
Rip off the Band-Aid, pick a week 6 game.
Mm-hmm. Howard.
We're all rooting for Howard.
We are all rooting for Howard, Jared.
You're the only people rooting for Howard.
That's true.
I have a lot of bad choices here. I feel like there are 3 equally bad choices: Nebraska, Illinois, Rutgers at Wisconsin, Purdue at Iowa.
I think there's one that is a decent amount above the others.
That's Howard and
is it?
I think so. I mean, there's no good option, but I think there's one that's better.
I really don't think any of them I don't think any of them are good. I'm gonna go Rutgers, Wisconsin. Is that the one you were thinking?
No, that was the worst one to me.
That's the worst one.
Really?
Yeah. I was thinking Nebraska, Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But I mean, again, I'm not going to completely shame you for it because there's no good choice.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to be TV executive here. I think those are better brands.
All right. Sure. So for my next pick, Jared, I'm going to go with 2 former ACC challenges going at it here. So I'm going week 3. Virginia.
This is Kyle's. Ooh, I like that. I like that pick.
And Maryland.
I like that pick.
That was my very next pick. Unfortunate.
I know there's a lot of hate within ACC with Maryland going to the Big Ten, so this could be fun.
Aren't they over it yet? Or are they still?
No.
So Kyle doesn't have any more of his wild card picks, so he's locked into picking weeks 1 and 11.
Yes. That is correct.
Jared has to pick a week 2 game and then gets 1 wild card. So I am going to take what I think Jared wants to take for his other wild card.
You're ahead of me.
And so again, branding, I'll take week 10 Purdue, Michigan.
Okay.
For my first wild card. I mean, honestly, looking at CBS and looking at, I mean, I don't know what is it, like CBS Sports Network is like the second network for CBS, I guess.
That or stream it on Paramount, which I know will be a thing. Actually, I think their deal with Paramount is that they're going to simulcast it.
Okay. So, well,
but whatever.
I don't know which one of those 2 games would be on CBS or which one would be on the streaming platform. But
honestly, fair.
You know, both of them are fine. So I feel good about that.
Yeah. All right, everybody.
2 rounds left. We're in.
Yep.
So you know how they say when you have 2 quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks.
Yep.
Oh, yep.
Yeah. So week 3, I don't have one quarterback, so I'm going to have two quarterbacks. So I'm going to pair my Ohio State and Western Kentucky with Michigan and Bowling Green.
Ugh. There's like
Oh,
I have 3 games at the top of my big board right now that are all week 3, and none of them are that game.
oh.
That's brutal.
But at least my game.
Guys, regional television. Regional television. All right. I get the Michigan audience. I get the Ohio State audience.
I'm just looking forward to your week 2
All
pick.
right, I'm going to pick my.
I am not.
I'm going to pick my week 11 here, and I will go Minnesota and Purdue.
Sure.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Just because I had to pick a game.
Honestly,
Yeah.
This late,
That's a decent pick.
I mean, this late in the game, that's a real decent pick.
So you both have used both of your.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I'm free to either take my week 5 or take my
Any other
wild
game
card, as long as I don't want it on week 1 or 2. Which, looking at those games, absolutely not.
Well, no, you're free to do whatever the hell you want.
Well, not necessarily.
You
if I wanna
just be-
double up on week 1 and 2. But
You'd be screwing. You'd be screw. It would be purely a move to screw with us.
Oh,
Charlotte and
that's a
Maryland.
great point. No,
Maryland.
Thank you for that reminder. I will do that then. Let me look at the board just in case. I'm pretty sure I know what I want to do.
Honestly, looking at this,
There's not
like
really anything to
even if you
over.
took the third best week 2 game, it's not that much better than the fourth best week 2 game. So screw me. I don't care.
Charlotte and Maryland.
You know what? I mean, they're all bad, aren't they? No,
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that. I'm going to.
It'd be funny for the meme, but like again, the fourth best and the fifth best aren't that different.
I'll go to week 5. And you know what? I feel like they, in a way, they almost deserve to be picked. As much as so I'm stuck between 2 games here: Illinois and Purdue,
Okay.
and Penn State at Northwestern. Now,
Okay.
at this point in the draft, getting a Penn State game, I feel like, is pretty good.
I agree.
The problem is it's against Northwestern.
And none of our games are Northwestern.
Yeah, I was about to say there is not a Northwestern
I believe
game.
Northwestern is the only team
You don't want that Chicago audience?
that has not been picked. But also, Northwestern has a chance to be a little bit better this year, if only because they don't play Ohio State, Michigan. And they're usually good every other year. I mean, they tell me you'd be completely shocked that if Northwestern made the Big Ten championship game.
I'd be completely shocked if Big Ten. Yes.
Well,
Listen, stop trying to justify the Northwestern side of this game and just pick Penn State for the sake of picking Penn State.
I'll take Penn State Northwestern.
Okay.
All right.
You're getting in the second to last round of this draft. You're getting a Penn State game. Take it.
Yeah.
Your last pick, week 2. You got Indiana State, Indiana.
Go ahead.
You got UTEP and Northwestern, Charlotte and Maryland,
Delaware and Penn State.
My personal favorite, Temple at Rutgers.
Yep, that's the one I would have.
That's the one I would take.
Do it.
God, it is honestly terrible. It is honestly very, very bad. Again, I kind of like I just told Austin, I'm like, shut up and take the Penn State game. Shut up and take the Penn State game. Penn State at a team that looks a little bit like, they have Michigan's helmet in Delaware. So, I mean, that's worth something, right?
No.
Not really.
No.
Okay. Well, it's Penn State.
Delaware. You couldn't even get their actual logo.
That is Austin. That is their actual logo.
Really? That's pretty
Speaking
terrible.
of
That is what Wikipedia identifies as their official logo.
Not the blue hen?
That is what Wikipedia identifies as their official logo.
Okay.
That's the information I have for you.
Speaking of Michigan helmets, that is actually the game that I will pick for week 1. We're going to have a North Carolina team upset Michigan in week 1. East Carolina Pirates taking on Michigan.
ECU getting... Listen, in the first year of the Big Ten Network, we got a Carolina team upsetting Michigan. So in the first year of the Big Ten on NBC,
let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's run it back.
The story writes itself.
Fuck yeah, go Pirates, baby. Exactly. Spikes, it legitimately is the greatest upset ever. Big Ten Network, your home for 2023 Northwestern football. Yeah, exactly, Spikes.
All right. Last pick of the draft. There's so many options.
So many.
They're all pretty bad. I'm looking at a lot of Indiana games. And none of them in particular look great. I'm looking at Virginia Tech, Rutgers. But I think
Rutgers and Northwestern.
Hear me out, Buffalo, Wisconsin.
It's an option. I mean, compared to some of these games.
Towson, Maryland.
I think I'm going to go a little sentimental with my last pick because
I actually have a legit suggestion for you if you're interested in hearing it.
Sure, go ahead.
Week 12, Rutgers at Penn State.
No.
Okay.
Although it is on my board. It's like number 7 on the board. Well, it's actually not that bad.
By the way, just responding to some of the live chat, I legitimately love ECU's branding.
Oh, it's great.
Black and purple and yellow pirate stuff. I love. Kyle, did we talk about ECU in either the helmet or uniform episodes we did?
Yes, we
did. Okay, good. I'm glad we
Yes,
did because we should have. All right, sorry, Austin.
No, you're fine. They gave me more time.
Yeah, I know. I know exactly what I was doing.
I was gonna go Syracuse Purdue because we watched that during a social screen last year, and it was a great game. But I don't think anyone is gonna want to watch it.
You need a week 1. Pick Northwestern and Rutgers. Northwestern needs to be on here.
I'm gonna go with a week 3 game.
We got Northwestern, Penn State, Kyle.
Oh,
okay. I have 3 week 3 games at the top of my list, and I'm gonna pick one of them. I'm gonna venture not into an SEC school, but into SEC country, and it's an out of conference game. And maybe people will be interested. I mean, the week 3 schedule is not great. So I'm going to take Louisville and Indiana. You think I was going to take Virginia Tech and Rutgers?
Yep. I was getting ready to get ready for you, but nope.
Louisville could be better this year. They weren't terrible last year. I think, people might tune into that game. I mean, it's the last pick of the draft, so I don't feel bad taking it there.
I picked a MAC school. And wherever the hell Delaware is school. I think Louisville, Indiana's a decent pick.
There you have it.
All right, guys, that is our draft. I thought about recounting it, but I'm not going to. I will screenshot. I'll export this. Don't you worry. The YouTube people can see it just fine.
So those in the
compared
chat,
to actual season, yeah, we could do that.
Yeah. So those in the chat, who do you think has the best lineup of games here that we picked?
And handicap it because I had first pick. And by the way, Yeah, I mean, so handicap it knowing that I had an advantage. And this isn't just for the people in the live chat. This is the people in the YouTube chat. Wherever you're leaving comments on our stuff. Well, hey there, Chop Daddy. So yeah, like handicap the stuff accordingly. Let us know who you thought did the best. This was a lot of fun. I don't know. I hope everyone enjoyed watching this as much as I enjoyed doing it, because this was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this. That's it. I know the actual schedule is coming out. Feel free to compare this to the actual schedule. And I think that's it for the draft. Unfortunately, I don't want to say bye to it. I was having fun.
Till next year.
Yeah, till next year. And by the way, has anyone else done this? I will now put. I didn't want to know before. Has anyone else done? I think we're the first people to do this. Seems like I missed a lot. You did.
Done it. I don't believe anyone's done it.
Just watch the YouTube video. Next day, Chop Daddy.
Yeah. We drafted all the games is what happened. Not all the games, 45 of the games. NBC did pretty well. CBS, I think, will end up with a bunch of games no one thought about beforehand, but end up being fucking sweet games. That's how college football works. Yeah. 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 I mean, obviously that's because again, I did what Fox would do and go after branding. Yeah. You know, Ohio's, these Rutgers games, whether it be Michigan versus Rutgers or Ohio State versus Rutgers, a lot of these games are going to be over in the first quarter. But like the dirty secret is that those first quarter ads cost a lot more.
Mm-hmm. Well, and part of my strategy coming into it was, okay, can I get some out of conference games that people don't see a lot that might be like, oh, that's going to catch my attention a little bit, or can you get a different market, or you think through all those things. Obviously, getting the big brands is probably one of the most important, but also just like getting games that people might be interested in. It's like, oh, I don't see Louisville, Indiana all the time. Like, I'll tune into that.
Right.
Maybe.
Do Ohio State fans stop watching? The casuals do, yeah. The casuals do. The hardcores don't, but also the general audience. Like Columbus will tune in. Cleveland will tune in. But will people who are hate watching keep watching after it's obvious? Because like the hate watchers, because that's the thing with Ohio State or with Michigan or with Penn State, any team that's involved in the national picture, you get hate watchers. The same way if you hear, oh, Alabama is struggling against whoever, and it's in the third quarter, we're turning that on immediately to hate watch it, because we want another team out of the national conversation. You know what I mean? Florida Atlantic, yeah, whoever. Like, so the hate watchers will tune in to see a possible loss by a national program. It happens to Ohio State, it happens to Michigan, it happens to Georgia, to any team that's relevant on the national picture. So even though you kind of expect Michigan and Rutgers or Ohio State and Rutgers to be a blowout and over by, the third quarter, just the possibility that like 10 million additional people will click over if the game gets close, it's big money.
Yep.
It's big money.
Absolutely.
Because if it all of a sudden maybe a 500 team and another 500 team are having the game of the century, an absolutely brilliant game, no one's tuning into hate watch because no one cares. Except maybe like the hardcore football fans looking for a cool game to watch. But the casuals aren't going to tune in.
If we're doing a social screen, I'm sure we'll put it on. But.
Exactly. The hardcores will tune in a game just because it's awesome, even though it has no bearing on the national picture. But the casuals won't. And there are a lot more casuals than there are hardcores.
All right. Anything else, Jared?
No, I was about to ask you that.
Oh.
I was about to ask you that. Do you have anything in Kyle's corner?
In Kyle's corner?
Hey, Jared.
Yeah.
How are you liking the new Zelda game?
I love the new Zelda game. It's legitimately like one of the best games I've ever played, period. It's brilliant. It's fun. I can spend hours in there doing absolutely nothing.
And you have.
And I have.
Isn't it Breath of the Tears of the Wild or something?
Yeah. Breath Breath of the Tears of the Wild. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. No, a lot of fun. I'm enjoying it too. It's a lot of fun. But no, that's it. It's not much news related here, so I thought I'd ask you on something that was fun in our off time here. So
yeah. Thank you for not saying exactly how many hours I have in it. I swear to you, I put it down paused a lot.
Sure.
All right. Austin, is there anything in Austin's corner?
No, thanks again for having me on. Sorry about the video issues, but I enjoyed it. Get a life. Yeah, that's fair. I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to it next year. I hope everybody enjoyed it. It was I think it was a great idea. I think it was a lot of fun. Hopefully everyone enjoyed it. So
and Austin played Austin played a big role in like making the idea. As far it was a conversation he and I had. I don't even remember how or when, but it was a conversation Austin and I had, like, wouldn't this be fun? And it was just like we both just like immediately clicked in, like, yes, this would be a blast.
Yeah, I think it was in January, so it was a while ago.
Oh, it was I think it was just like when the new TV deal was announced and we saw that the teams were literally going to draft I'm like, draft games? Yes, let's do that. Yeah, so this was a lot of fun. Every Big Ten team did end up getting picked. Northwestern only the one, unfortunately for them.
So Jared, I just looked it up because I looked at when it was posted in our little chat there. Yeah. We've been sitting on this idea since last August.
Yeah.
Which is kind of ridiculous, but
yeah. Well, and when you were subbing for Kyle in like early January, you almost like said what we had planned. Yep. And I was like, no, shut up. Don't say it. don't let the idea out. Because again, I don't think anyone's done this. And, you know, if you can be the first to do something in the college football sphere, even though no one's going to notice, and I'm sure some bigger, more popular podcast will end up doing the idea as well. And people will give them credit, but screw it. It's off. It's fine. But you know what? That's it. We're rambling now. That's the end of the show. Tonight's ending music will be the Soul Monsters, a band out of Columbus. The name of this song is called Head in the Clouds. If you're watching the YouTube version of this, then you can click on the link to hear the song. If you're listening to the audio version of this, then you can just not do anything and keep listening. So with all that being said, I'd like to encourage everyone to drink local beer, listen to local music, and of course, support your local podcasters. Once again, these are the Soul Monsters.